This is why I hate injuries, man. Like, not only does it impact a team's flow and rhythm, but it also just impacts a team's overall morale and confidence. All of that being said, though, there is no excuse for the Bulls to lose to the worst team in the league that only had won 8 games all season long leading up until tonight. Like, I get it. You just lost Caruso, who I've talked about as one of the Bulls' most impactful players on the court and their main glue guy, but you also don't have any of your other key defenders in Lonzo Ball, Javonte Green, and Derrick Jones Jr. And of course, you're also without one of your best scorers and all-stars in Zach Lavine. Like, yes, that's going to impact your play, but right now the Bulls can't be feeling sorry for themselves. You have to try and play through it as much as you can, especially with some of these games that you should win even if you're shorthanded. Now, I'll admit, it was hard for me to even get into this game based on the news of what we learned from Caruso yesterday, and because it's also a game against the Magic, and maybe the Bulls players kind of view it that way as well, because for the most part, they played with pretty little energy and looked lifeless out there for most of it. And that was really on both ends of the floor. I know we've talked about the Bulls and their defense and how that slipped when Caruso isn't in the lineup, but even the Bulls' offense tonight was subpar on poor shooting, horrible ball movement. Like, I don't know how a team finishes with only 10 assists in a game. How is that even possible? And for it to happen against one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And what has been going on with the Bulls' three-point shooting, especially for Coby White. Coby is now 1 for 16 from deep in his last 2 games. Vucevic still cannot find his outside shot. And really, in general, he can't find a shot. Like, I cannot stress enough how much Vucevic needs to step up while the Bulls are shorthanded. He has to play better. You cannot, in a game where the Bulls need you on offense, and you shoot 4 for 19, turn the ball over 5 times, and get fouled out of the game. Dude was a minus 20 on the night. That is unacceptable. I don't care how depleted you are. Like, as much as we need guys like Coby and Io to step up while Lonzo and Lavine are out, which Coby played decently well tonight, don't get me wrong. Didn't shoot the ball that well from 3, like I mentioned, but stepping in and scoring 22 points, that was needed. But for Vucevic, like, he was an all-star last year, and you already have another star in the lineup in DeRozan, so it's not like all the scoring pressure is just on him. But as a second option on that team, you have to show up better than what we saw tonight. Like, for the Magic to dominate in the paint without a true center in the lineup and make Mo Wagner look like an up-and-coming star is inexcusable. That just cannot happen if you're a star player like Nikola Vucevic. The Bulls got poor production off the bench as well. The Magic absolutely dominated the Bulls bench tonight, in part because of Mo Wagner. The only guy that showed up well tonight for the Bulls was DeMar DeRozan, who had a season high of 41 points. And it's sad because he just couldn't get any help tonight. The guy was trying to do it all himself. 41 points on 15 for 21 shooting. Scores 41 points without taking a single 3. DeMar was balling tonight. But that's why it's a team sport. And one guy isn't going to be able to carry you in a game if no one else shows up. Now, you could say some of that lack of team ball could be blamed on DeRozan for playing so much ISO ball. Again, the Bulls had 10 assists in total, which is a season low. Yeah, you're not going to win games that way without any ball movement. A lack of ball movement and poor shooting aside, what lost this game for the Bulls, and it started early on, was when they had 9 turnovers in that first quarter alone, was that they simply couldn't take care of the ball throughout this game. 21 turnovers in total isn't how a professional basketball team should be playing. Again, even when you're shorthanded. And a lot of those turnovers were just unforced errors. It wasn't like the Magic were playing subpar defense. These are going to be a long few weeks while guys remain out of the lineup. Like, there is no way of getting around it. This just isn't a good basketball team when you don't have your key rotational players and defenders on the roster, which, yes, I know that's kind of a given, but it shows with how poorly the Bulls are able to guard the perimeter when you let a team like the Magic, who is one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league, shoot 46% from 3 tonight. I can only imagine what that's going to be looking like against some of the better teams in the league. The good news is, though, Zach Lavine and Javonte Green are nearing a return. Billy Donovan even hinted before the game that both guys could be available for the game against the Thunder, which is tomorrow, another back-to-back game for the Bulls. And the Bulls are certainly going to need both of those guys back, even if it's against the Thunder. Like, you need to be able to stack these wins against poorer teams in the league. You cannot afford to take losses against bad teams, especially with how tight the Eastern Conference is shaping out. Just to give it some perspective, with tonight's loss, the Bulls have fallen to 3rd in the East and are only 2.5 games ahead of the 7th spot in the East. That is play-in territory. Let's just hope the Bulls get healthy and do so soon. I'll be out with the Bulls weekly preview of games tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. As always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.